You're listening to All Things Sports with Mike Davis.
What is going on, everybody? Glad you can join me. Thank you for being here on another episode of All Things Sports with Mike Davis. I thank you for including my podcast into your day. If you're listening to the podcast on Spotify, follow the podcast. If you're on YouTube, subscribe, comment, like, all that good stuff. Make sure you go to our Facebook page to get in contact with the show for comments or suggestions. I won't take up much more of your time. Let's get into it. Games, the New Orleans Saints, one of my divisional foes, being a Falcons fan, they played the Bears on Sunday, and they ended up getting a 26-23 overtime win. Alvin Kamara looked very good in this game. Alvin Kamara, 9 catches, 96 yards, 67 yards rushing. He had some big catches for some big gains in this game. Nick Foles, 28 of 41, 272, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. And I bring up Nick Foles because I keep seeing like all the people, who claim they know sports on, the big time networks. And they keep blaming this whole problem on Nick Foles with the offense not being able to move. Nick Foles threw 1 pick, so there was another pick that was dropped. So he possibly could have had 2. But outside of that, Nick Foles didn't play bad. I mean, he was under pressure for quite a bit of the game. But 28 of 41 for 272, it's not bad. The problem with the Bears' offense is, listen to this. They are 31st in rushing. They're 31st in rushing yards. That's next to last in the league. And they are last in rushing touchdowns. Okay? So what that causes is, it causes this stat right here. The Bears are 3rd in pass attempts. The reason they're throwing the ball so much is because they can't run the ball. They can't run the ball. That's the problem in Chicago. They want to blame on Nick Foles. Look, I'm not saying that Nick Foles is just world beaters, but I do think that, give Nick Foles some credit. He's a Super Bowl winning quarterback, and the guy's been around the league, for a while. He knows what he's doing. The Bears can't run the ball. When you can't run the ball and all you can do is throw, you better hope you got some receivers out there like an Antonio Brown or Julio Jones. Because I come from the old school where the run sets up the pass. And Chicago just doesn't have it. They keep blaming the whole offensive woes on Nick Foles. I really didn't see that against New Orleans. What I saw was the ineffectiveness of the run game. And the stats I just told you prove that. I mean, the Bears all they can do is throw. They can't run it. They can't run it. They need to go look for a running back this offseason, whether that's the draft or free agency. But they need help in that backfield ASAP. I just don't think that Nick Foles is just solely the problem for that Bears offense. Because now I wonder what Trubisky would have done. If you give Trubisky a run game, what could he have done? But with that being said, I still don't believe in the Chicago Bears. I still think they're one of the biggest frauds in the NFL. I believe they dropped to 5-3 now. But that is the problem in Chicago. They can't run the ball. Now, the other thing that took place in this game was the fight between Javon Williams and C.J. Gardner-Johnson. Now, Williams was suspended for 2 games, and he accused Johnson of spitting on him. But when they showed the replays, I never saw it. And when C.J. Gardner-Johnson put his finger, like mushed one of the players, It wasn't Javon Williams who he mushed. It wasn't him. And then what was so odd about it was they weren't even lined up on the play that the fight happened. C.J. Gardner-Johnson was lined up against another guy, and then after the play, Javon Williams walks over to him and gives him a two-piece, with his helmet on. Excuse me. But to be fair, and just playing devil's advocate, I believe that C.J. Gardner-Johnson was accused of this before with Michael Thomas, his own teammate, of spitting on him. Which kind of got Michael Thomas into some trouble with the team. But I don't know. There seems to be kind of a fake history of this. I don't know. I just don't know what Javon Williams was thinking. I don't know what was going through his mind when he decided to go to give C.J. Gardner-Johnson a two-piece. And speaking of the two-piece, Johnson said that the hit was weak. And here's my take on that, my opinion. I don't care nothing about if the hit was weak or not. When you are a grown man, you don't let another grown man step in your space and hit you like that. I don't care where you're at or what you're doing. You don't do that. Remember, you are a man before everything. Before everything. So, I don't care nothing about the hit being weak. Because, dude, you just got two-piece by a guy who had nothing to do with the play. And you've been accused of spitting on him. You've been accused of this twice now. So, I don't know, but the NFL, they didn't want to stand for it. They suspended Javon Williams for 2 games, and I'm pretty sure that he will appeal those suspensions for the 2 games. All right, hey, look, that's all I got for you today, folks. I thank you for including my podcast into your day. If you're listening on Spotify, follow the podcast. If you're on YouTube, subscribe, comment, like, all that good stuff. Make sure you go to the podcast Facebook page to get in contact with the show for comments or suggestions. You've been listening to All In Sports with Mike Davis. And remember, it's your world. I'm just giving my opinion. I'm out. Peace.
You're listening to All Things Sports with Mike Davis.